Global happenings today. We communicate, we analyze global news. Stay tuned.
Hello, beautiful people. Welcome back to Global Happenings Today YouTube channel. We have three very interesting news to render. Some few hours back, the final written address was made by Bola Tinubu and Shetima's legal team, of which they took time to explain the reason why Bola Ahmed Tinubu deserved to remain as the president of Nigeria. One of such was the 25% in Abuja. That is really Abuja shouldn't be given a special address. Rather, it's just one of the states, in fact, the 37 states. And they did mention that in the final written address that if eventually the court awards that Abuja have some special power, and that it may not go in sync with some of the rulings they have had previously, decided cases to that effect. For more details on that, just check our playlist. We took time to read out their final written address in our playlist. Then, of course, they didn't stop there. They said that of which, if they upturn that, that it may cause anarchy. Nigerians have decided to react very strongly to that. Strong, prominent Nigerians are reacting over that particular statement they made. There have been series of points raised anyway. Then in another news, there's strong crisis going on within APC. In fact, the APC national chairman resigned, sent his resignation letter, handed it over to Femi Gbajebamila, who happened to be the chief of staff. Of course, there seemed to be something that went very down some few hours ago. In fact, on Sunday evening, allegedly so, in his residence, where security men were on serious, clash amongst themselves over the same national APC chairman. You're going to find out the details on that. Then, of course, some Nigerians are questioning, will heaven fall if for any reason the judiciary makes a statement in favor of some strong Nigerians who believe that justice must be served. We're going to give you full details on all of this very quickly. So before we do that, kindly subscribe to our channel. Let's start with what happened in Adamu's residence. Then we'll go down to other news very quickly. While there was tension on Sunday night, when operatives of the Economic and Financial Crime Commission EFCC stormed the home of the national chairman of the All Progressive Congress APC, Adamu Abdullahi, to execute a search warrant. The report has it that the APC national chairman had allegedly resigned from his position following pressure from top members of the ruling party. It was gathered that EFCC agents arrived around 8 p.m. at Adamu's house on Ali Akilu Crescent by Asorok Presidential Villa and immediately met resistance from police orderlies attached to the politician. According to the two sources familiar, including one of the officials involved, it was disclosed that there was a standoff immediately, which ensued after the police officer said no one would be permitted to enter the premises because it was already past 6 p.m. The officers insisted, despite being shown a warrant duly signed by a judge. The content of the warrant was not immediately clear, but Mr. Adamu had first faced corruption allegations whose probe might still be active. The police officer said no one can enter the house because it was already past 6 p.m. and already late for any such operation. One of our sources said, under anonymity to discuss the operation, he added that they said they won't allow anyone inside, even if they go back to bring the judge that signed that warrant. The officers who the sources said arrived in 4 trucks, spent hours trying to unsuccessfully to resolve the matter. No casualties were reported during the standoff, which is source described as physically intense. Spokesperson for the police and EFCC were not available for comments between the small hours of Monday, early hours of Monday, and at the opening of business today. Of course, in another news, very quickly, many Nigerians are reacting, one of which is the fact that the way things are going, if the judiciary does not carry out its responsibility, according to Dr. Sam Amadi, a former chairman and chief executive officer of the Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission, NEC, things will get worse. According to him, he said to be challenging to persuade a child that doing wrong is not rewarding. According to the former Imo State Labour Party governorship candidate, if the judiciary allows things to continue as they are, the declaration was made by Amadi on his official social media handle. He claimed he couldn't think of a single instance of a successful economy being led by extremely dishonest individuals. It will be very challenging to explain to a school child that crime does not pay, especially handsomely, if the court upholds the status quo, he claimed. At this point, he claimed the nation would have been lost. Okay, but let's find out very quickly. Well, Nigerian President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's legal team had actually warned that election tribunal removing him as president could trigger a breakdown of law and order in Nigeria. Tinubu admitted that he didn't get 25% of vote cast in Nigeria's capital Abuja, but said it was not sufficient to overturn his victory as declared by the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC). In their final defense statement to the court, Tinubu's lawyers, led by Wole Olanipekun, said any other interpretation different from that would lead to absurdity, chaos, anarchy, alteration of the very intention of the legislature. The lawyers were specifically addressing the section of Nigerian Constitution that said as a presidential candidate must garner 25% of vote in 2/3 of Nigerian 36 states and the Federal Capital Territory or Abuja. Nigerians have reacted to this development on social media, and some of them, here's what they're saying. It's quite very strong. This one here says Tinubu will be disqualified and heaven will not fall. Another person said, I believe he has seen it in his dream. Some other person said, you'll be removed and nothing will happen to the nation. There'll be a celebration all over Nigeria and beyond. Another Nigerian said, nothing will happen. This man must think he is next best thing since jollof rice was discovered. Take this sorry excuse of a threat to where the sun doesn't shine. Another person said, there's fire on the mountain, or Tinubu don't dey fear. Another person said, we are up for it, Bola Ahmed Tinubu should bring it on. Another person said, laugh out loud. They were shouting, go to court, now see. Another Nigerian said, I'm glad he's getting the memo. He will be disqualified. You didn't win election and you'll be disqualified. Another person said, they rigged and said, go to court. We went. They said, you have no case. Chris Uche showed them a solid one. Now they are threatening anarchy in Nigeria. If Bola Tinubu is removed, but heaven has never fallen and it will not fall for Tinubu. Let the electoral justice be served. Another person said, it will be removed. He will be removed and nothing will happen. Another person here says, Bola Tinubu, you know score 25% for FCT. 25% in Abuja is sacrosanct. Pack your baggage. Gently return our mandate. Another person said, lawyer said he scored 25%. Client admitted he didn't score 25%. An interesting team indeed. Another person, isn't this another thing? Another person said, can you imagine? Oh God, forget that thing. The people that are with us are more than you can imagine. Are you threatening the whole country? Another person here says, coming from someone from Aso Rock, voted against, Abuja residents rejected, all the polling units across Nigeria, military formation voted against, and so on and so forth. 35% is not the only issue here. There are about 10 to 11 prayers in the petition, weighty enough to have him disqualified. Another person here says, same Tinubu that urges African leaders to respect democracy and urges United Nations to take firm stance against coups is well, all in God's hand. Alright, many Nigerians have been reacting on this particular issue, but one thing is certain, all eyes seem to be on the judiciary. Whatever the case is, I can assure you that even the whole world is watching. EU made their verdict and they made their report, and I must say the report was not particularly what the presidency would have loved to circulate, but whatever the case is, NID, IRI did make their own, also similar to EU, an international body, similar to EU's reports, but definitely not in sync with AU, that's African Union's report, ECOWAS report rather. Whatever the case is, Nigerians are waiting for the verdict. Remember, Peter Obi, Labour Party, Atiku Abubakar, PDP have within 7 days, of course, to respond to the final written address made by Bola Ahmed Tinubu's team. We are waiting for the reply. Have a nice time. Let's wait in our conversation. What's the take? God bless.